Next lesson here is solving proportions. Proportion is basically an equation stating that two ratios are equivalent to each other. So going back to the example of the cheese, if I bought 2 packages of cheese for $5, that would be the same ratio as buying 4 packages of cheese for $10, and we can make any number of ratios. That is actually true, and I can verify it because of my cross products. So 10 times 2 is 20, and 5 times 4 is also 20. So since 20 equals 20, this is a true proportion then. Instead of calling these cross products, I typically will call this using the heart method, because if you kind of look, it actually makes like a little bit of a heart here. So I'll talk to you about using the heart method when we solve these. The cross products of any proportion are equal, so it actually allows us to be able to solve for unknowns like we see here. So go ahead, heart method, x times 10 is going to be 10x, and 4 times 9 is equal to 36. To get x by itself, these are multiplied, so we divide by 10. We get x equals 3.6 in this case. Over here, we're going to use the heart method to get our cross products. Here, though, we have junk, so go ahead and put that junk in the parentheses. 2 actually gets multiplied by that whole entire quantity. Equals 6 times 3 is 18. Distribute your 2, you get 2x plus 16 equals 18. So I need to take care of this plus 16 first. See how solving equations is coming back in. And divide by 2, and we get that x equals 1 in this case. Over here, use the cross products or heart method. 10 times 10 is 100. 8 times n is 8n. To get n by itself, divide by 8. And we get that n equals 12.5 then. Down here in letter D, again we have junk, so we're going to actually put it all together in parentheses. So it's 3 times this quantity. So 3 times x plus 5 equals 5 times 9 is 45. Go ahead, distribute. So 3x plus 15 equals 45. It's just a 2-step equation, so subtract 15. 3x equals 30. Divide by 3. And x equals 10. Over here, for this one, we have k times 9, so 9k. And here we have 6 times this stuff, or this stuff times 6. So I'm going to put the 6 out front, k minus 7. Drop a line, so 9k equals distribute. So you're going to get 6k minus 42. K's on both sides, so we got to move them over. Since this has nothing else and it is larger, we're going to actually move the 6k over. So minus 6k. That goes away. 9k minus 6k is 3k equals a negative 42. Divide by 3. And k equals a negative 14 then. Over here, same situation. Parentheses, parentheses. Cross product, so 9 times p plus 10 equals that stuff times 8. Double distributing here, 9p plus 10 is 9p plus 90. And over here we get 8p minus 56. So I'm going to subtract 8p. So we get p plus 90 equals negative 56. Subtract the 90, p equals negative 146 then. So we can also use proportions to actually help us solve word problems, which is in the next part. So this is applications. So the first one says, after 2 hours, the temperature had risen 7 degrees. Use a proportion to find the amount of time it will take at this rate for the temperature to rise an additional 13 degrees. So basically what you need to know is in 2 hours, the temperature rose 7 degrees. In a proportion, if you have hours over degrees, on this side you're going to have the same thing, so hours over degrees. We want to know the amount of time, so we have x hours, that's what we're trying to figure out for 13 degrees of a temperature change. So go ahead, heart method, 13 times 2 is 26. 7 times x is 7x. To get x alone, we divide by 7. And 26 divided by 7 is going to be 3.7. So we would say 3.7 hours. The next one, a car can drive 30 miles in 45 minutes. So 30 miles, 45 minutes. That's miles over minutes. This side will also have to be miles over minutes. How far can it drive in 65 minutes? So minutes is on the bottom, so 65 goes down there. It's x miles. So Hart method here. And 30 times 65 is 1,950 equals 45x. Divide by 45. And that will give us x equals 43.3 repeating miles, which is really also 43 1/3 miles. So these next ones get a little bit more complicated. It says if the ratio of type O to non-type O donors at a blood drive was 37 to 43, how many donors would be type O out of 300? So this is a total number, which tells me if this is my ratio of type O to non-type O, I also need a total number. So 37 plus 43 is going to be a total of 80. So it wants to know how many donors would be type O out of 300. So B type O, so that's actually the first number. So in my group that I had at the blood drive, 37 were type O out of 80 total people. Which means if I'm extending this to a larger group of 300, that would be my total number. So X would tell me on top the part out of 300 that would be type O. So if you go ahead and Hart method here, so 300 times 37 is 11,100, which equals 80x. Divide by 80. And you're going to notice on the calculator, we get x equals 138.75. We're not going to have 0.75 of a person, so we're going to say that we have 139 type O donors. So we're going to round up there. Number 4, the ratio of 7th grade students to 8th grade students in a soccer league is 17 to 23. If there are 200 students in all, how many are 7th grade? So 7th graders is 17 out of a total number of, this is going to take us up to 40 total. So 17 7th graders out of 40. If the whole league, though, is 200, how many of them are 7th graders? So what part of that 200 is still 7th graders? So 17 times 200 is 3,400 equals 40x. And if we do 3,400 divided by 40, we get x equals 85 7th graders.